I believe that this is our season as women, as he's raising up women to make impact in so many different ways and to get out of debt so that we can, do all the things. Listen, we are an army of women that are truly changing the world. Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We're here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life that you love that inspires others to do the same. I am your co-host, Teresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, a real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Today, we're going to talk about something that is at the core of who we are, giving back, focusing on charitable giving. As the leaves begin to change colors and a sense of togetherness fills the air, we find ourselves drawn to the idea of making a positive impact in the lives of those around us. It's a time of year that prompts reflection on our blessings and a desire to share those blessings with others. Teresa, let's dive into this together, talking about charitable giving. Can we start out with a personal experience or story that you have that inspired you to become passionate about giving?
Yes, and I would have to take it all the way back to just being raised in church and knowing the Bible. There's so many scriptures about giving, and especially these are the things that I always think about: giving to the poor. Mm-hmm. God was very adamant that we are supposed to take care of those that are less fortunate than us. So many scriptures throughout the Bible, and especially in Psalms, but also the widows and children. And so I always heard those scriptures growing up and always wanted to be able to do that. And, I've always done it on a very low level. If you can only give, you think of the little lady that only had the 2 mites. Mm-hmm. That's all she could give, but she gave it all.
All of it.
And, and I think God always knows our heart. And so I was giving back when I only had 2 mites to give. And here's the truth. There's also so many promises that come to us as we give, as we take care of those that are less fortunate than us. God promises that He will continue, that we'll be a vessel, that He'll continue to fill our hands so that we can give more. Exactly. So, I can just remember always wanting to give. And feeling very blessed to be where I am now, that I can give more than I ever dreamed of.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So as a real estate investor, we're going to tie this in. How do you integrate your business success with your commitment to giving back to the community?
Well, Melissa, as you know, one of the hugest, is that the right word? One of the best blessings from becoming a real estate investor was the ability to fund Warrior Women.
Oh, yes.
And that is so near and dear to my heart. And especially, and I think we'll talk about this more, it's so important where you're giving. Because, sometimes we're just throwing that money away. But I knew my friend Susie, who started Warrior Women for single moms and their children. And so not only do I give personally, but even a portion of every mentorship goes straight to Warrior Women to take care of, again, moms and kiddos, single moms and kids. And so that is something that I would have never dreamed that I would be able to do back when I was giving my 2 mites. But what I love about this is if we're faithful to give in little, then God will just continue to increase us so that we can give more.
Well, and I think you're a perfect example of that. And you're right in giving not only from your personal level, but it's like you said, your company, your business is able to give as well. And not just to a person, but an actual, a whole community of women in need with children. That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, I know with the holiday season approaching, it's really important for us to be charitable, giving and all of those things. So what do you do? Is there something specific that you like to do in the holidays?
There is. is. And I love when the holidays come around because let's just be honest, the holidays can be really hard for some people.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that go without, that don't have. And I think that it's up to us to give to those people. It's up to us to be Jesus to somebody, because if we're not, what are we doing?
That's exactly right.
So, and I remember there was a time in, holidays that I didn't have a whole lot as a single mom to give. So in the holidays, I love to give. I love to give toys. I love to adopt an angel from the angel tree. A couple. I've done this since my girls were little. Even when we didn't have much to give, we would adopt to give somebody, because we did have. There were times we had none and times we had a little extra. Yep. And as we grow, we are able to give more. So I was trying to raise them with a giving spirit as well, or to provide, a holiday meal for someone, or just volunteering your time and giving of your time at the holiday season, I think is so important.
Yeah, I do too. I love Angel Tree. I love going and choosing your little angel. You get to read a little bit about them, and then just going shopping. And I always have this this little kid in my, I usually get a boy and a girl.
Yes.
And I have a picture of what they look like, because it tells you their age. And it's so much fun to put together that, all of the things. And that those kiddos are going to be have something under their tree that might not, if we don't take the time and spend that time, energy, and money to go and do that. So again, holiday season, so many people go without, and that's it.
They do. And the holiday season for us as Christians, we're celebrating the birth of Christ, which was God's ultimate gift to us. So he gave his son.
Yeah.
The least we can do is give the little bit that we have.
Absolutely.
To others.
Absolutely. Another thing is, I know at the church that we go to, they always do the little shoebox and send it overseas.
Oh, yes.
And that is, again, so much fun. So yes, I just think it's so important to always be thinking of those that are less fortunate than us.
Yes, I agree.
Well, how do you decide what charitable organization to support? Are there specific criteria that you're looking for?
I can't say that there's criteria, but I definitely try to give where my heart is, which, like you with Warrior Women, when the network decided to go that route, I love that because I was a single mom for so long, and it's hard. It's a hard job. So I love supporting that organization, but also during the holidays, the Angel Tree, again, there was a time when I didn't have a lot to give my kids and to, have blessings come in. I love giving there was a church camp that my girls went to growing up. And there was their first couple years of camp where they got to be scholarshiped, because I was a single mom and I couldn't have afforded it.
Yes.
And I was so blessed by someone else paying for my child to go to camp. So I love to give to those organizations that have personally touched me or someone in my family.
Yes.
We do a lot we give, I know, to some of the other big organizations that do things for the sick children. The organization St. Jude's, I believe, is one of those. Or the cancer foundations, we give to some of those.
Yep. One of my favorite is Salvation Army, because I was very involved in that whenever I was in the medical field. And they truly do so much. And almost everything that you give goes to directly to help people, even off the streets, giving them a place to sleep sometimes, but helping people get off of drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
And because I have all of that history in my family, so Salvation Army is really a great charitable organization. But you can literally Google, and I really encourage our listeners to do that. You can Google what organizations are good and what are not.
Right.
And pay attention to that, because some organizations, you're giving and it's all going to the CEO of that, most of it's going to the CEO of that company.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I love to give to organizations that like Susie and Warrior Women, or like you in the camp, that about, and you trust the people that are leading that, their heart.
Right.
Or Angel Tree, just something that is near and dear to your heart. You're going to give more, and you're going to find more joy and fulfillment in giving in an area like that, I think.
You are. And it's like you said, picturing the little one on Christmas morning, if you've got a personal tie to it, you kind of get that one. But I mean, giving, as one who has received.
Yes.
It feels so good to know that people, give and they love, but to be able to give is almost as much of a gift as receiving.
It is. Melissa, I remember one year as a single mom, Christmas was coming, and I was stressed and just not knowing what I was going to do for my boys. Now, I always trusted God, and I would believe, and I would just start, thanking God, maybe around Thanksgiving, that he was going to supply all of my needs for, that I would have gifts under the tree for my kiddos. And so this one specific Christmas, I was believing that. I was declaring that. And so two things happened. And my boys were like teenagers at the time. And we had an optical shop inside our ophthalmology clinic. And they came to me and said, hey, you can pick out 3 pairs of glasses, like cool. These are like cool sunglasses, Ray-Bans, brand name for your boys. Aww. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so that was a gift that I was able to give them for Christmas. And, just things like that. So again, being on the other side of just knowing what it means when somebody gives to you, makes it so much more fun when you're able to give back.
There was one Christmas, I remember, so with my girls as a single mom, I couldn't do all of the things at Christmas. I was very limited. And so I decided my first Christmas as a single mom, the girls were, a year old and maybe 3 years old. They were very young. Decided, Jesus got 3 gifts. Right? The 3 wise men. Yeah. And so if 3 gifts was good enough for Jesus, it was good enough for my girls. And so I did 3 gifts for them, and they each had some meaning to them. But one of the gifts, which is, it has a lot of spiritual meaning to it. I do.
It was frankincense, myrrh, and what was the other one?
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So gold represents their big gift. Their one thing that they want. It's not necessarily always expensive,
so cool,
but it's their one big gift. And then frankincense was a fragrant aroma that they wrapped bodies in, they buried bodies in. It was a very spiritual aroma that they used. And so that's usually some kind of a bath and body product or a perfume, something like that. And then myrrh is the one that had the really deep spiritual meaning to it. And I can't go into all of that today, but there was a spiritual gift. So, throughout the years, they would get a Bible or a devotional or something like that. But there was one year where I just didn't have anything, extra to really do with. And someone gave us tickets to Six Flags Holiday in the Park.
Aww.
So I decided that their myrrh gift for that year, instead of a Bible or a devotional, was going to be time together. And I gifted them with these tickets to Six Flags. And I tell you what, that is probably one of the most memorable experiences that the 3 of us have together was that day at Holiday in the Park. We had so much fun. And you can't take that away, and they will never lose that.
Yes. Oh, I know our listeners are excited about that. So 3 gifts. Myrrh, frankincense, and gold. Gold represents like your biggest gift.
Yep.
The frankincense is a like aroma, Bath and Body Works. I love that. And then something spiritual. Y'all, that is so cool.
Yeah.
I need to do that with my grandkids.
That was something that they've grown up with, and I've kept that tradition. And my girls are now 19 and 22.
I love that. So that's what awesome.
So can you share? And we've talked a little bit about this. An example of a charity or nonprofit organization that aligns well with your values and the work that you do as a real estate investor.
Absolutely. One of the things that we teach at the Women's Real Estate Investors Network is I believe that we are blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
I do not believe that God blesses us. We are learning how to invest in real estate, and we are teaching women all across the nation to create wealth for themselves. And I do believe that the smart thing to do as we begin to build wealth is get ourselves out of debt, take care of ourselves and our families first. But ultimately, it is so that we can make impact and give back and make change. We're in a world that is hurting. And so whatever we can give back and so what I love about that is that we have women all over the nation, and as they begin to get wealth, all of us are passionate about something different.
Right.
Like I mentioned, I am passionate about people that are struggling with drugs and alcohol because of so many in my family. So that's why I love the Salvation Army so much. But also, I was a single mom, so I'm passionate about Warrior Women.
Right.
I give to single moms. I also give to an organization that helps girls that are transitioning out of like foster home and that type of thing. So those things are near and dear to me. But as so many of our other women, somebody is going to be passionate about mental health,
Yes.
and they're going to give money there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else is going to be passionate about, just the down and out, the poor, the homeless that are living in a street. And so as each person, whatever each one of us are passionate about, if we give to that thing, wow, we are truly making an impact all over the nation in all of these different areas of life. And as a matter of fact, at WREIN Live, when we come together once a year to celebrate, one of the awards that we give out is the Impact Award. And this is for any of our students that start a nonprofit of any sort, of any kind of a ministry.
Yeah.
And we had 14 ladies this year win that Impact Award.
Wow. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
Let's just go there. Let's talk about that. What were some, I know you probably can't name them all.
Well, I actually was on the phone with one of them yesterday. She just happened to be on a call, and she's in Hawaii, and she has started a nonprofit, and it is for single moms that are really struggling.
Yeah.
So that we have a couple for that. Several for drug and alcohol abuse. Some just abused women that are helping women coming out of dark places.
Mm-hmm.
So just a variety of different types of nonprofits that were near and dear to their heart, and they put their money where their mouth is.
I love that.
I know it. It's so
what
powerful.
a way to give back, because then you're not just impacting one person, you can impact a whole
and I believe that, you've heard me say this so many times. I believe that this is our season as women, as he's raising up women to make impact in so many different ways and to get out of debt so that we can, do all the things. And then as we start these nonprofits, and we are an army of women that is truly changing the world.
Right.
One person at a time.
So where do you, if you're looking to start, either to start a nonprofit, or maybe you're not even there. Maybe someone is just looking to, okay, you know what? I want to give. I don't even know where to start. Where would someone start?
Well, first of all, chase your heart. What are you passionate about? What is it that matters to you? Some it's going to be, animals. And I can't even think of what that organization is called. But just adopting pets so that they are, they're not put to sleep. So I think Google. I mean, that's the beautiful thing is we can Google what we're passionate about, and you don't have to start something. There's plenty of organizations out there that just need us to hand them $100 bill or a $20 bill or, a $1,000 bill, whatever that is.
Your local food bank. A local food bank is a great place to start.
So many times our churches have something.
Yeah, a soup kitchen.
Absolutely.
I know they've got those all over the place. They give to the homeless and help feed the homeless.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk to your friends, your church. There's
absolutely
a lot of churches have organizations or ways for you to give back. And if you aren't a member of a church, then your network of friends, or even just get into the network and ask some of the women that are in your area, because there's women in our network who are doing some big things.
Have you noticed now that every time you even check out at the grocery store, or some even like fast food places, they will ask you, would you like to donate to this special, thing? And again, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I'm leery because you don't know
where your money's going.
But you know what? I always say yes. And I do at least one, because it's usually like $1 or $5.
Yeah.
I do it every single time. And then I just have to trust God that it's going where that it needs to go. I should probably do a little bit of looking into that to see. But every time I buy groceries, every single time that somebody asks me, I just say yes, because there were so many times in my life that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And my goodness, and I know that one of them, I think at my grocery store, one of the grocery stores is that it is for food for the homeless, and especially in the holiday seasons and all that.
Well, and the giving doesn't just have to be to charities or organizations, or just at the holidays. You guys, now there was a time when I, again, didn't have a whole lot to give. And now that I do, tipping, when we go out to restaurants and these young wait staff, if I can give a little extra, then I love to bless them in that way. So there's ways you, even just a little bit, like you were saying at the grocery store, and you do have to just kind of pray that it goes where it needs to go, and it touches, we give with the right heart and the right spirit.
Yeah. I have a friend, and it's a couple, and they will literally, they carry $100 bills with them all the time and give it on the regular. I know that they have paid many times for, if they seem like a single mom is in front of them in the grocery store, they will pay for their groceries, or they will just hand out $100 bills maybe to their waiter or waitress. And I mean, that's just so amazing.
That could be a great goal. Someday I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I remember actually someone in the church that I was going to, this was years and years ago, talking about being able to pay, I think it was a $300 bill for a family that just didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And that how grateful they were to be able to be that $300 giver. And I thought, wow, that would be so cool just to, here it is, just pay that bill, just take care of that for you. So, goal is to be able to hand out $100 bill here and there.
Yeah. As silly as it sounds, sometimes it's not even about the money. It's about what it does to the person that you're giving to. Mm-hmm. This has happened to me on several occasions. Going through the line at Starbucks and somebody pays for your coffee before, when you get up to pay for it, somebody's paid for it. And, it's such a small thing. And obviously, Starbucks is not a necessity, but it warms your heart.
It does.
It makes you smile, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And immediately, what do you say? I want to pay for the one behind me. But I remember this happened a few months ago, and literally, it was the first time that it ever happened. Maybe it could have been even a year ago. I don't know. But I literally was like chasing the car down in front of me so I could just wave at them and say thank you, because it just made my heart happy. So, but can you imagine paying a $300 electric bill for some single mom or some family that's just struggling? It's so much more. You just said it earlier that we need to be the Jesus with hands and feet. Mm-hmm. And so not only is it a relief that bill got paid, but you know what? They feel seen. They feel like, oh my gosh, God is listening to me. He sees my situation and all of that. So I think it's such a light. It's more than just a light bill being paid or whatever the thing is.
You're right. And for those out there, I know there's probably some of our listeners who are in that position that you and I have talked about being in. We didn't have anything as single moms years ago. There was no extra. I couldn't have. Yep. I don't know that I could have blessed anybody with anything. I felt like that at a time. There's other ways to give. Give of your time. If you've got a little extra time, maybe even if it's just going and keeping your neighbor's kids so she can go buy groceries, or that she can, just go to Starbucks and have some alone time. Well, I guess Starbucks isn't the place to go for a long time, but no kids, right? You're not, your own kids. Just blessing someone with your time is another huge way to give back, because there's things that you can do.
Yeah, baking someone a cake.
Yes.
Cleaning their house.
Yes. Yeah. Yard work, you guys.
Yes. So many different ways. If it's really in our heart to do something for someone, we'll figure out a way to do it.
Yes. And we all have different gifts and talents within ourselves.
Yeah, nobody really wants me to bake them a cake. They want me to order a cake and have it delivered.
Well, that's doable too.
That's exactly right. The gift card, when there's the, what is that called? Maybe when somebody's having surgery and everybody's going to cook for the family while.
Oh, right. The meal train.
Yeah. I'm just sending the gift card.
Yes.
I'm just sending the gift card.
I always go and pick up and deliver as well. I'm not much in the kitchen. Yeah.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about, obviously we want to give, and we've both mentioned that we've been in places where we really couldn't give. So what about that balance of financial responsibility and our desire to make that positive impact?
Well, I think that there's got to be a time with everybody that they just don't have as much as they need. Now, maybe not everybody has ever gone without, but there is a balance of, there's a time when you don't, I know is it a Psalms or there's season, the seasons?
Yeah. A season to give, a season to take.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it is kind of seasonal. There was a season in my life that I couldn't give. And now that I'm able to, I love to give. But it makes me want to do more as far as my real estate investing. I want to make more so that I can give more, so that I can bless more, because being the hands and feet of Jesus, that's what we're called to do.
Absolutely.
And so I think that there is a balance in that, working with that to be able to give more is.
Yeah, I do too. And we do have to be, again, you hear me saying this all the time. The financial responsibility part is, don't give more than you can. You don't take away from your own family to give to somebody else's family if your own kids are going to do without. But I also do believe in the lady that even gave the 2 months. If we just give whatever we can, if it is baking the cake or if it is doing that little bit, God sees it, and He sees our heart. And when we have a heart that wants a true heart that wants to give back, I believe those are the people that He is going to bless with more. So because He sees us, if we're faithful in little, He will give us more.
Yes.
And and
it's like you said, it's not just financial. You guys, there's times when someone giving their time is more than any dollar amount.
Absolutely.
Could be. Someone just needs some time from somebody for something. All right, Teresa, let's just shift for just a moment and talk about the difference. As we're talking about giving, I know that I give to our church in the form of a tithe. And a lot of times I give as an offering to the difference. Okay, let's just talk about the difference in tithing and offering, and then how that balances with our charitable giving in other ways.
That's a great question. So now this is, I know that we share this belief, but first of all, tithing belongs to the church. That's where you are being fed. This is so that your pastor gets paid, and all of the bills of a church are being taken care of. So that's my tithe. That's 10% of what I bring in that goes to the church. Anything that we've been talking about, that's over and above. That would be considered offering. And so I believe God blesses all of it. He sees all of it. And so, and we actually did a whole podcast on that, which, was pretty fun. But there's definitely a difference. And so if you can only do one, if you're in that position, tithe.
Yes.
Be faithful to that.
Right.
And then God is going to bless you because you're faithful to that. And then you're going to have more for the giving, for the actual offerings.
Absolutely agree with that. And as you tithe, there will be opportunities that come up and give, whether it's financially or of your time or your talents or whatnot.
Yep.
So,
I think God sees it all. I know when I was raising my kiddos, starting out really young, I would help teach preschool. And then as they got older, I was helping with the preteens and then the teens. And that's because I didn't have a lot of money, but I could at least give back in those areas. And I'm so grateful that God is gracious and He sees where we are and He sees our heart and He blesses all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, do you have any last piece of advice that you want to give to our listeners, especially maybe about entering the holiday season?
Yeah. So I would just say, really watch for the need. There are needs everywhere. And in your community, whether it's the community that you live in or the community that you're investing in, they might be the one and the same, but they might not be. There is a need. And especially going into the holidays, it seems like there's always someone that, whether they need food or your time or just some money or to bless someone with gifts for the kids, there's a lot of opportunities to seek out. So I would say start looking for that need. And maybe even start saving if that's something that God's putting on your heart to be able to give. First of all, if He puts it on your heart, He's going to provide the means for it.
That's right.
So maybe you start setting aside a little bit of extra money now as we go towards the holidays to have that to save.
It doesn't have to be that $100 bill. It could be a $20 bill or whatever. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, really what I heard you just say is paying attention, paying attention, because it's all around us. And it's so easy for us to get caught up and just we're in a hurry and that we don't even recognize that the person right next to us is needing something that we could supply.
That's right. That's right.
Well, if you have not subscribed to Without Fear of Her Future podcast, I want you to hit that subscribe button today for new episode reminders. As we wrap up, I have a special invitation for all the women listening, an invitation to safeguard your financial future and begin your own legacy. So click the link in the show notes of this episode to grab tickets to the Without Fear of Her Future MasterClass. If you can commit 1 hour a day for 7 days to yourself, I can promise you that your future will thank you. Yes. Your children will thank you, and the generations to come will remember that you were the one who broke the economic cycle in your family. So join thousands of everyday women just like yourself who are coming together to breathe life into their dreams.
Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and Teresa Todd, I'm Melissa Baker, encouraging you to be brave and dream big.